question actually is, what's the point of a tournament?
What's the point of a tournament?
Why the MLS will never be as successful as European football, harsh truth. Imagine this. It's 2050, and despite all the fanfare, Major League Soccer, MLS, still hasn't caught up to European football. Big-name players have come and gone, billion-dollar deals have been struck, but there's one thing that hasn't changed. MLS remains a league playing catch-up. Why does this happen? Why can't the MLS reach the heights of the Premier League, La Liga, or Serie A despite all the investment? Today, we'll explore the uncomfortable reality that many don't want to admit. The MLS will never be as successful as European football. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why, and maybe even agree. The reality of player quality, stars versus substance. We need to start with the players. Sure, MLS has pulled off some jaw-dropping signings over the years: David Beckham, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Wayne Rooney, and now Lionel Messi. But there's a catch. These players are all in the twilight of their careers. They've already hit their peak in Europe, where they built their legacies, won titles, and lifted trophies. The MLS is often seen as a retirement league for players looking for one last big paycheck and a softer level of competition. In Europe, however, the next generation of stars is already lighting up the pitch. Jude Bellingham, at just 20, is already dominating at Real Madrid. Erling Haaland, one of the deadliest strikers in the world, is in his early 20s and breaking goal-scoring records in England. In MLS, young talent like that is scarce, and when they do emerge, they're quickly snapped up by European clubs, leaving the MLS unable to develop its own stars. But that's just the beginning. The MLS needs to stop relying on aging legends to sell tickets. Instead, it should focus on nurturing homegrown talent who could compete on the global stage, rather than being overshadowed by older, past-their-prime superstars. This brings us to another issue: how clubs are built and owned. The ownership problem. Celebrities versus legacy. Let's talk ownership. Celebrities love to own MLS teams. Whether it's Matthew McConaughey at Austin FC, Will Ferrell with LAFC, or David Beckham co-owning Inter Miami, the star power is undeniable. These names bring attention, no doubt. But in Europe, clubs are more than just trendy investments. They're legacies. Take Real Madrid, a club with over a century of history and fan loyalty. Ownership in Europe is about preserving and enhancing that legacy. In Europe, club ownership is often about community involvement. Many clubs have fan ownership models, where supporters have a direct say in how their club is run. Think about Barcelona and Bayern Munich. These aren't just teams, they're woven into the fabric of their cities. MLS, by contrast, feels like a commercial project. Owners might be passionate, but without that deep-rooted cultural connection, the league lacks the authenticity that European clubs have cultivated over generations. The closed league system: no relegation, no fear. Now let's talk about the closed league system in MLS. One of the most exciting aspects of European football is the drama of promotion and relegation. Every match has stakes. Teams like Leicester City can shock the world by winning the Premier League, but also risk relegation the following season if they underperform. That fear of being dropped into a lower league creates tension, excitement, and stories that fans live for. In the MLS, the system is closed. No matter how poorly a team performs, they remain in the top division. There's no real punishment for failure, and that lack of stakes drains excitement. Teams can have a bad season, regroup, and try again next year without worrying about financial disaster or demotion. The lack of promotion and relegation means we never get to see dramatic underdog stories or the survival battles that make European football so captivating. The money problem. Europe's financial powerhouse. Next, let's address the elephant in the room: money. European football operates on a completely different financial level. The Premier League, Serie A, and La Liga generate billions in revenue through TV deals, sponsorships, and merchandise. Clubs like Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain have some of the richest owners on the planet, and they aren't shy about spending money to bring in the best talent. On the other hand, the MLS has a salary cap, which was designed to prevent teams from overspending and to create parity. While this keeps things competitive within the league, it limits their ability to attract top-tier talent. For instance, while Messi signed with Inter Miami, the salary cap prevents the league from building a super team around him. This financial constraint means MLS clubs will never be able to compete with Europe's giants when it comes to player acquisition. Fan culture. MLS lacks the soul. Now let's look at fan culture. European football is all about tradition. Generations of fans have supported their clubs through thick and thin. The chants, the rivalries, the atmosphere in stadiums like Anfield or San Siro is unmatched. Fans live for these moments, and it's not just about the game. It's about history, identity, and belonging. In contrast, the MLS is still trying to figure out its identity. Yes, there are some fantastic fan bases. Seattle Sounders, Portland Timbers, and Atlanta United come to mind. But it's not on the same scale as Europe. For many MLS teams, fan culture feels like it's still in the building phase. They don't have that deep-rooted connection that clubs like Barcelona or Liverpool have, where loyalty is passed down like an heirloom. The solution: invest in youth, stop chasing stars. So, what's the solution for MLS? If they ever hope to close the gap, they need to shift their focus. Instead of chasing after aging superstars for short-term attention, MLS must invest heavily in youth development. The U.S. has plenty of young, talented players. Look at guys like Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna, both of whom made their names in Europe. If MLS can build a system where young talent is developed, nurtured, and kept within the league, it could start to create a competitive future. Imagine a world where MLS is known for producing the next generation of world-class talent, rather than being a retirement destination for stars past their prime. It won't happen overnight, but with patience and smart investments in youth academies, MLS could one day carve out its own identity in the global football landscape. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into football and other sports. What do you think the MLS needs to do to compete with Europe, or do you think it will never happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's continue the discussion. See you in the next video.